Welcome to day one of your 7-day fast track. My name is Kim Danke and I am your fast track instructor. Tonight we're going to do a simple program overview just so that you will know the disciplines that you need to be applying in your daily life to make the results that you want to see happen. And if you do apply these, I promise you they will happen if you apply them. I've never had anybody say this does not work for me if they've been applying what we teach. Hello, those of you that are on Facebook. I see many of you on Facebook. Lots of friends on Facebook tonight. Hey, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to share a PowerPoint. We're just going to go right through this PowerPoint. If you see, if you have a question, that's what I meant. If you have a question while I'm talking, please go ahead and type that into the chat and I will revisit those questions. I kind of get on a roll and I don't stop because I'll lose my train of thought. I know people know how that is, but I will come back to the questions and I will answer those questions. But sometimes if you don't ask the question right when you're thinking it, you also forget that question. So if you have a question, just go ahead and answer that. Just to give you a bit about me, I started Shibboleth last year in April. I wanted to lose 35.5 pounds. Well, I did that in 3 months. And then I went into our maintenance program. I lost 15 more pounds in maintenance. And I didn't even know I had 50 pounds to lose, but I had 50-pound weight loss. And I've been enjoying a 50-pound weight loss since last September. And when I figured out that this is just a nutrition education that we've never received before, I said, I have got to help get the word out about this, and that is how I am here. So this is a lifestyle. It is not a diet. Now we know inherently that what we choose to eat is a diet, but we're not dieting, is what I'm trying to say. But we live this as a lifestyle because it's not just about eating. It's also about modifying some behaviors that we maybe have had in the past. It's also about getting water in and the right kind of timing and different things. So it's a full lifestyle. It's also a lifestyle of support of the other members that are trying to achieve the same thing that you are. And I find that to be super helpful. And it is one of the most amazing things you'll ever see is the support that the members give each other in our support groups on Facebook. So welcome. We are so glad that you've made the decision to be here. I just want to assure you, you have made a great decision. So one of the things that I like to do when we get started is to go over the terminology that you're going to hear in this new lifestyle that you are living, so that when you're reading pages or documents or links on the website, or when you're reading somebody's post on Facebook, or you're reading your email, you're not confused about the terms that you're going to see. The terms and just learning the terms is important. That's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to go over that whole basic overview. And there are 2 modes in Shibboleth. It's really simple. You are either in weight loss mode or you're in maintenance mode. Weight loss means that you have not reached your goal weight yet, so you don't have your victory badge and you still have weight to lose. That's all that means. Maintenance means you have gotten your victory badge, you are at your goal weight, and now your goal for the whole rest of your life is to maintain the success that you created with the disciplines that we are going to teach you, okay? So there's 2 modes on Shibboleth. There are only 3 differences between the 2 modes. One of them is the number of holidays that you can have in a month. We're going to talk about that on the next slide. The second one is how you eat fruit. Yeah, how you eat fruit. There's a difference between how you eat fruit in weight loss versus maintenance, and we'll get to that a little bit later. And the third is your mindset, because right now you may be treating this like a diet, and that's okay in the beginning. You know, do what you got to do in the beginning to make it go through, but you need to have your mindset shifted by the time you get to where your goal weight, because you want to realize that this is something that you need to do for a lifetime. Thankfully, this is practical, sustainable, and fun information that you can apply daily without any real hardship, okay? So that's great about Shibboleth. There are 2 types of days. You're either having a perfect day or a holiday. A perfect day is where we're meeting every component of the shield that we follow. And a holiday is where you're not meeting some component of that shield. Okay, but if you'll look at my little lady right down here, it says enjoy the holidays. That's because you've made an adult decision to have a holiday. Don't feel guilty about it. Just enjoy your holiday, whatever you're celebrating that day, whatever you're doing, enjoy it, and then get back right to your perfect days. That's all part of this lifestyle, and that is one of the reasons it's so sustainable. Okay, so there's two types of days. Now, if you are a Tiger's Eye Lifetime member, you are going to figure out that there are different types of perfect days based on, things you're trying to achieve. But all we're going to focus on this week, and all I need y'all to start doing is living the lifestyle, is that this is we either have a perfect day or a holiday. It's that simple. Now let's have a look at slide number 3 and talk about those holidays, all right? So a holiday is some day where you are not meeting one of the components of the Shibboleth shield that we follow. So in weight loss mode, you can have up to 6 holidays in a calendar month if you would like to use them. You do not have to use them. I know that when I was in a good groove, I only had 1 month I used 2, 1 month I used 3, and then the next 2 months I didn't have any. And then by that point, I was already in maintenance and decided to go ahead and move into these other holiday amounts I could have. So the reason I put up to is because if you're in a really good groove and you don't have some good reason to have a holiday, then you don't have to do it, all right? But you are allowed up to 6 holidays in a calendar month in weight loss. When you get to maintenance, you get up to 12 holidays in a calendar month that you could take off and do whatever it is you wanted to do. As long as your other days in the month are truly perfect Shibboleth days, you will maintain your weight loss. I've been doing that now for 10 months, so I know that it works. Okay? So think about that. 12 times 12 is 144. There are not 144 actual holidays on the annual calendar. So there's a lot of holidays that you can have once you get to maintenance. Now, weight loss, 6 holidays is really plenty too. So, it's just an opportunity to take that break, do what you need to do, like on a holiday, like Christmas, Thanksgiving, that kind of thing, a birthday, an anniversary, and those kind of days. Those are built into the lifestyle. Okay, how do I have a perfect day? Well, we follow the Shibboleth shield. And I'm going to explain to you real quick. Shibboleth, that's the actual pronunciation of it, Shibboleth. And it is a Hebrew word from the book of Judges in the Bible. And it was a password. Well, a password is a secret. And we have found the secrets to weight loss. The secrets to weight loss are right here in this program. So that's why it's called Shibboleth. But there's a lot of other reasons that it's called Shibboleth. And I want you to watch the video that is in the new member fast track group, okay? Because it's called Shibboleth Origins. So Shibboleth is the way the Hebrews pronounce it. But a good old boy from Harley, Georgia pronounces it Shibboleth. So in honor of the way that Travis says it, we call it Shibboleth. All right, so we're country accenting the O. That's what you get with that, Shibboleth. But when I say Shibboleth shield, I just do that because it rolls off my tongue easier, okay? So we're going to follow the Shibboleth shield. After 2 perfect days of following the shield, your body gets into efficient fat burning. There have been a lot of people, and you may have been one of them, who have tried to access and burn fat before and lose weight. See, before you might not have even thought about it in those terms. You might have thought, I need to lose weight. But what we really need to do, we don't need to just lose weight because we don't want to lose muscle. We don't want to lose heart mass. We don't want to lose tendons and ligaments and all the important things. We need to lose fat. And so that's what we have to focus on. We got to focus on efficient fat burning. A lot of people have attempted to lose weight in their lifetime, but they were not doing it efficiently. And this is an efficient system that will help you lose weight. So there are 5 components to the Shibboleth shield. 1 is water, 2 is journaling, 3 is combinations, 4 is portion control, and 5 is timing. Okay, so you can see all of these things over here. After 2 perfect days, you are already turning your life around. Do you know why? Because you no longer have insulin running around in your body. And the fact that insulin has moved out of your body, even if it's just for a short period of time, you're already turning your life around by doing that. Okay, now then we string as many efficient fat burning days together as we can for great success, and we'll talk about how to do that. So component number 1 of the Shibboleth Shield is that you've got to drink your water. You want to drink at least, at a minimum, 64 ounces of water, which is half of a gallon. Then your goal is really a gallon. So work towards a gallon if possible. You know, the more you drink, the better it is. And so just four of these in a day is your minimum. And when I'm teaching people in class in Kennesaw or wherever it is I might be teaching, I always say, do you want to get in 63 ounces of water? And they go, no, because I don't want you to skimp. I want you to hold, I want you to have great tenacity and hold fast to the outline of the program. You've got to keep the integrity of the program it is. So I laugh and say, go, if you realized that you only had 63 ounces of water before you go to bed, go in there to the sink and scoop up your water and get it in. I laugh and say that just because it is important to get your water in. So make sure you're getting all your water in. And look at point number 3 down here. And this is why a dehydrated body will not efficiently give up fat or waste. And so we need to hydrate our body properly. You may be thinking, oh, I drink water all the time. Water is no problem. As soon as I ask people to measure the water they're drinking, they realize they weren't drinking enough. So make sure that you measure it out and you get the right amount in. So number 1, you want to get your water in. And if you haven't already started doing that, you can start that tomorrow. It's easy. Component number 2 of the Shibboleth Shield is to journal. This is a really, really important part of what we do because it helps you with modifying behaviors that you might want to change. It also helps you learn the program, and it holds you accountable to yourself. So it helps you to eat mindfully rather than mindlessly. It helps you to eat consciously rather than unconsciously. So you are now a citizen of planet Shibboleth, and there are no idle bites on planet Shibboleth. If you bite it, you write it. If you nibble it, you scribble it. If you drink it, you ink it. And if you hog it, you log it. Absolutely everything that goes in your mouth, that's not this water, because water you're going to tell how much you've drank. You want to write it down. There are 10,080 minutes in a week. And journaling takes 3 to 5 minutes, depending on your thoroughness of it. 3 to 5 minutes. That's 35 at the most minutes that it can take to journal out of 10,080. If I said to you, journaling is going to help you get to your goals, would you take the 5 minutes a day to do it? Well, it is. So I want you to take the 5 minutes to do that each day. So it's really, really easy. When you are journaling, it also creates your future meal plans, okay? So think about that. It's really important to journal because maybe next month you go, what did I eat when I first started Shibboleth? You can go back and you can look. So if you had great weight loss in a week and then you get to a week where you didn't, go back to that week where you had great weight loss, see what you had eaten that week, and you can print that all out and just eat it again. So it creates your future meal plans too. So it is a great thing. And if you don't journal, it's not considered a perfect day. So we do need to journal. Component number 3 of the Shibboleth Shield is combinations. And I'm going to tell you what, this one is my favorite. The reason that this one is my favorite is because this is one of the secrets. This is one of the secrets that I don't know why they are not teaching this in school. It is something that people need to know. So what we do is we eat properly combined meals. Properly combined meals keep away the fat bus. The fat bus is actually a hormone called insulin. Insulin is a hormone that is a growth hormone focused on fat storage. When I read the definition of insulin on line online. I looked it up. It sounded so interesting. They did not put it so bluntly. So I just don't tiptoe around it. It is a hormone. It is a growth hormone, and it is focused on fat storage. Okay. So they put it in a way that was hard to even understand or comprehend that that's what that is, but it is. There are other hormones that come out in your body that are also growth hormones, but they don't have the focus of fat storage, and insulin does. So that's why we have got to eat in a way that controls insulin so that we don't have fat storage. Part of, in my mind, this is one of the things that I've kind of taught this year, is we're trying to do two things in Shibboleth when we're losing fat. One, we don't want to store new fat, so we're going to teach you how to not store new fat. And two, we want our body to access this stored fat that we have and use it as its energy rather than easily accessible energy. I hope that makes sense. Y'all think about that. We want our body to be accessing stored energy rather than giving it easily accessible energy. Because if you're always giving it easily accessible energy, that's what it's going to use first, and it's never going to get to stored energy. You know, stored energy is there just because we overate by X number of calories that didn't get burned off and it just got stored. Well, now we just have to work on getting our body to use that for energy. That's what we got to do. Okay, this one, component number 3 of the Shibboleth Shield, it's a biggie, all right? It's a biggie. I've got one slide on it tonight, but tomorrow night's 1-hour webinar is all about this. So I need you to register for that. After you get off this class in the Shibboleth New Member Fast Track group, there's going to be a registration link for you to register for that for tomorrow night. So I need you to do that. And listen in tonight to what I'm saying, because I do ask questions tomorrow night, and it's to see if you were really paying attention tonight. Component number 4 of the Shibboleth Shield is portion control. Now, this is the one that inherently people know that if they want to lose weight, they need to cut back on some calories. That one is obvious. People have always known that one. But a lot of times people cut back on calories, but they're not combining their foods in the right way, so they're still not losing weight, and they're just frustrated, and they throw up their hands, and they're like, well, if I'm not losing weight eating that, I'm going to just eat whatever I want to. Well, now we can eat great food, because what a part of Shibboleth is this. There are thousands of food options on Shibboleth, but you don't need thousands of food options. You just need the ones you like. And that's what your goal is. Your goal is to figure out the ones that you like and in the right combination. Do those for a little while. Then as you're continuing to learn and see ideas, you'll incorporate new things in. And then you'll always have your rotating list of things that you like to eat. And then you'll always be adding in new things. It is a wonderful, wonderful lifestyle that I'm thankful that I found it at 50, okay? I just turned 50 this year, and I was so excited to lose 50 pounds before 50. I feel better than I have in my entire life. I'm talking my entire life and right now. And I truly put that on this program that I'm getting to live. But component number 4 is the portions. We are going to eat properly portioned meals from a 6 to 8 inch plate using the 2-hand rule. The 2-hand rule trumps whatever size plate you have, okay? So if you're at a restaurant and they give you a giant plate, you still are going to use your 2-hand rule. You can't worry about that. But when you're at home, if you use a smaller plate, it really just helps you with that portion control so you don't accidentally put too much on there. But we use the 2-hand rule. The 2-hand rule is simply this. You just get your thumbs out of the way. You put your hands as close together as possible. Okay, y'all can do that right now with me. Put your hands together as close as possible. And then you just place your hands down over your food, down close to it, over it. And as long as you don't see food sticking out around your hands when you have them like that, then you've portion controlled. Isn't that exciting that you do not have to count calories? You don't have to weigh or measure or anything else maybe you've done in the past. You don't have to do any of that. You just put a properly combined meal on your plate, and then you put your hands down over it. And as long as you can't see your food, you've portion controlled. If you can see your food, take that off, put it in a container. That's for seconds, 4 to 6 hours later or tomorrow. All right? That's the next day, the next eating episode that you decide to have. So that's what you're going to do for your portions. You also don't want your portions to be thicker than the thickest part of your hand. Okay, so that basically I like to laugh and say, you're not going to pile up your Thanksgiving plate that's this tall and then put your hands over it and say, I can't see it. You're not going to do that. Okay, so it's just a reasonable amount of food under there. If you go to a restaurant and you order a 6-ounce filet mignon, you know how they can be tall sometimes? Well, that'll be taller than the tallest part of your hand, okay? But you have to keep in mind it's still 6 ounces. So that's reasonable. You can do that. So component number 1, water. Component number 2, journaling. Component number 3, combining foods in a way that control insulin. And component number 4, all of those must be hit in a day to call it a perfect day. Number 5 is timing. It doesn't have to be hit just right to call it a perfect day, just because we all live different lifestyles and different work schedules, different family things and everything, so we can't just tell you exactly when to eat. What we do is we tell you the optimization of it, and then you have to figure that out based on your waking hours and your eating hours. But it is ultra important, and I find that this timing helps me maintain my weight loss very, very, very well. So you could do up to 3 meals a day if you want to. And we say that because let's say you're not a breakfast eater. You don't have to eat breakfast, it's all right. But you're going to do up to 3 meals a day. You could even do 2 meals and a snack, okay? But basically 3 eating episodes in a day. So if you do eat breakfast, eat within an hour or 2 of waking if you like breakfast. Now, honestly, when you think about it, if you eat lunch is the first time you've eaten for the day, that's actually considered breakfast because you're breaking the fast. But in the terms of talking regular talk, if you like to eat breakfast, do it within an hour or 2 of waking. Then you're going to have lunch 4 to 6 hours later. Then you're going to have dinner 4 to 6 hours later. Doesn't really matter though when you eat that first meal. The point is, once you eat it, you give yourself 4 to 6 hours to give your body time to digest. And then you, after you eat your second meal, you give your body 4 to 6 hours, and then you eat your third meal, and then you don't eat anymore. That's it. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you, if you have mental weakness, what to do. But we really can make it between breakfast and lunch and dinner and bedtime without snacking, grazing, and doing all those things. One of the things that kind of has got many of us in a spot where we need to turn around and go back the other way is snacking, grazing, and all those kind of things. Well, think about an animal that grazes. Well, one animal that grazes is a cow. Well, a cow has 4 stomachs, 4, okay, and it can handle that grazing. It was designed by the Lord to graze in that way. That's how he designed a cow. He did not design us like that. We do not have 4 stomachs. We've got 1, and we were not designed to be grazers. Okay, so we do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast for the Father, lunch for the Son, and dinner for the Holy Spirit. Okay, 3 times to sit down and say, thank you, Lord, for this food that you've given me. Thank you. And it's good food, and I love it, and I'm enjoying it, and thank you so much. Now, the reason you give yourself time to digest is because we don't need to be putting more food on top of food that's barely started the 4 stages of digestion. Okay, now that we can learn all about that later. But just know that everything that is in this program is because it works. And we put all the picture together, and each component has its important part, and it will supercharge your weight loss if you will do this. Now, look at point number 4 down here. In moments of mental weakness, you can have what we call freebies, an extra, and a snack. You could do those things, but I want you to know they will slow down your weight loss. Now, you'll still lose weight, but it won't be as quick as you might want to see. Typically, when people join the program, they're ready to go. They're willing to give up some food in the beginning just to get it off and get it done, okay? That's what I did. I just had 3 meals a day. That's it for my weight loss. Then July 4th came along, and I added a snack and an extra in that day. I felt like I was having a holiday, but I wasn't. That's a good strategy right there. But if you do have moments of mental weakness where you just cannot wait, well, first of all, let me just tell you my favorite freebie. My favorite freebie is water. That's going to be your best friend. This is a 0-calorie freebie. You just go in there, guzzle this, your mind will be satisfied and your stomach will be satisfied, and then you just keep right on going. But you could have, freebies are unlimited. You really could have as many of those as you needed. But I want you to keep in mind, if you are eating all of those freebies, just as many as you want all day long, it looks like grazing. And we are not here to graze. And then an extra is something it's an approved item, and it ranges in calorie count from like 50 to 100 calories, okay? But it would be approved in the library, in the food library. And you can have a snack. Snacks are no more than 200 calories, and it would have to be an approved item. But I want you to think about this. Let's just say that you ate, let me tell you this bit of information first, and this is going to be a question I ask you tomorrow night. How many calories are in a pound of fat? Does anybody know? Oh my goodness. Hey, Charles, I hope you're still watching on Facebook. I just looked up to Facebook. Hey, Lavelle, if you're still on Facebook, anybody know how many calories are in a pound of fat? Awesome. Chad Cook from Carrollton said it. 3,500. There's 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. So in order for us to get rid of 1 pound of fat, we have to be in a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories. So, but we want to do that in a way that preserves muscle. That's one of the most important things on Shibboleth. We want to have all the amino acids and everything that we need to preserve muscle. But the point with me talking about this is, if you eat so many freebies that they eventually add up, I'm just going to say 30 calories, okay? And then let's say you have a 70 calorie extra, and let's say you have a 200 calorie snack. Well, that adds up to 300 calories. 300 divided into 3,500 is 11.67. That means you're slowing yourself down 11.67 days in losing a pound of fat if you feel like you need unlimited freebies and extra in a snack every single day. Okay, now that would be up to you, and you still will lose weight, but I know most people want to go fast, and the fast way would be to just do 3 meals a day. And then if you have a moment, utilize those other things. All right, I hope that makes sense to everybody. Okay, so those are the 5 components of the Shibboleth Shield. This is, in my mind, these are the daily disciplines that I have chosen to apply in my life. And I'm going to tell you, my self-discipline muscle is stronger than it ever has been in my life. I'm very, very thankful for that. And maybe that is the muscle that you also need to work on in strengthening too, your self-discipline muscle. Think of it as an actual thing that you get to strengthen. And it'll be so exciting to use that self-discipline muscle. Okay, so now we're going to go back and we're going to talk about component number 3 of the shield, which is combining foods in a way that control insulin. Before I get into this part right here, I want to tell you, I kind of consider that we have 4, I'm just going to say buckets. We got 4 buckets of food to pull from. Combining foods, which is what we're going to go over right now. Recipes, we've got a huge recipe library that you can make a recipe and it'll tell you if you need to combine it, it'll tell you what you need to do. Then you've got a whole nother area that you can utilize, meal replacements. Meal replacements make life super simple and easy. And then 4 restaurants, okay? There's a lot of restaurants in our restaurant guide. And the restaurant guide specifically tells you how to order that item if you go ahead and open it up all the way, okay? So there's 4 different areas from which we can pick our meal choices, and I think that is awesome. But we're going to focus right here on the combining foods. And to me, so let me just give you a little background on me. I have a master's degree in education from the University of Alabama at Birmingham. I used to teach school. I was also the principal of a school for 6 years. I saw this as an education that I had to help get out, but it's almost like it's a science experiment going on inside your body. And you never knew how to get a blue ribbon at the science fair, all right? This is going to help you win blue ribbon at the science fair, because you're going to know how this is responding in your body. All of this is about how food responds in your body. That's what accessing stored fat is about, how food responds in your body. But in order to look at the chart properly and everything else properly, you need to know what you're looking at. Okay, so There are 7 categories of food. 7 categories of food. One of the tasks that I would like for you to do first is I want you to just take a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil and just brainstorm. And if you've got other family members in your house doing this with you, brainstorm all the foods y'all like, okay? And then what I want you to do is look those foods up in the food library and see what category they're in, because then you'll know if you need to combine them in a certain way. You can look that up. But see, we're not about making you eat anything that you don't like. You don't have to eat anything you don't like on planet Shibboleth. Okay, so somebody mentions beets to me, I'm not going to eat them. I don't want to eat a beet. Okay, but I don't even think about the things I don't like. I only think about the things I like. And I don't focus on the things I can't have. I focus on the things I can have. And if it's something that I can't have on a perfect day, I bet you anything there is a replacement for it that is Shibboleth approved. Okay. And that is another thing that you're trying to figure out in the beginning. What bread do you like that's Shibboleth approved? What tortilla do you like that is Shibboleth approved? Those kind of things. So there's 7 categories of food, and we're going to go over them and what we look at it. And then there's 5 of these that don't even have to be combined at all if you don't want to combine anything. So let's have a look. When you see a chart, the Shibboleth combination chart, you are going to see a number, and then you're going to see an abbreviation, and that stands for longer heading, like a heading, okay, like lean protein. So a category 1, so anytime you see a 1 or you see the letters LP, that stands for a lean protein. Chicken breast, egg whites, something simple. 96% lean ground meat. Now, another thing in the beginning, anytime you hear something, hey, I like that food, write it down. Chicken breast, category 1. Egg whites, category 1. 96% lean ground meat, category 1. That's part of learning, okay? And everything that we teach you, do you know that it is conceptual until you apply it? And losing fat is not conceptual. It has to have personal application for it to happen. Category 2 is FC, FC for fibrous carb, fibrous carb. Category 3, EC, EC for energy carb. Category 4, PF, protein plus fat. Category 5, fruit, FR, FR. It's also known as an antioxidant carb, so you might see AC instead of FR, so just know if it ever says AC, that's just fruit, okay? Category 6 is an SF, which is superfood, superfood. Category 7 is SHF, which is shellfish, all right? Now look right here at this little parenthetical phrase right there, which is really just a lean protein. So this is going to be a question for tomorrow night. It's going to be important. Category 1 and category 7 are both lean proteins. Shellfish is a division of lean protein. But due to biblical reasons and medical reasons, 7 shellfish got pulled off of a category 1. That way, if you don't eat shellfish for biblical reasons, or you're allergic to any type of shellfish, you don't even have to worry about category 7s. When you print out the combination chart for yourself, take a Sharpie marker and draw right through anything with 7s in it if you don't eat 7s. There'll be a lot less to look at on that combination chart if you do that. But category 1 and category 7 are used interchangeably. They're both a lean protein. This is just a different subset of a lean protein. All fish is in category 1 lean protein. So this is what I say about shellfish. Anything that swims funny, and it doesn't even have to have a shell. It could be an octopus, whatever. But it swims funny and it's not a fish. There, and it's your shellfish, okay? So even if you picked it up in the creek, a crawdad, then it would be shellfish. Now, let's have a look at fibrous carbs, energy carbs, and superfood. And, oh, you know what? I just thought about something and I want to go back to it real quick. Have you ever heard that you should eat 5 or 6 small meals a day? That is a myth. I meant to say that on the last slide, but I didn't. So that is a myth. Actually, I've heard people say, what a relief. I can't even eat 5 or 6 small meals a day. But yeah, you don't want to do that because you're never giving your body a break from digesting. Sorry about that. I knew that would come back through my head in a minute. Fibers, carbs, energy carbs, and superfood. There are going to be a lot of things in those categories that you have given the general term of vegetable. But not all vegetables respond the same way in your body. So they've made it into their, vegetables have made it into their different categories based on the response in their body and based on the nutritional makeup of the food. Okay, so we'll get to that in a minute. But there are 5. Now, this is something I'm going to ask y'all tomorrow night. There are 5 of these 7 that you do not have to even combine at all. You can eat 5 of them without combining them at all, and that'll be a proper meal. Okay, so I'll make it real easy. 3s and 5s. 3s and 5s are the ones that we have to combine properly. The rest of them can be eaten by themselves, and it would be fine. But you have to combine a 3 properly, and you have to combine a 5 fruit properly. Now, I'm going to hit the fruit real quick, and then I'm going to go to the energy carb. Do you remember in the beginning when I said that there was 3 differences between weight loss and maintenance? And one of those is the holidays. The second one is the fruit. So nutrition is situational. And we are in the situation that we want to burn stored energy, which is fat. So in order to burn stored energy, we have to not give ourselves an insulin release, and fruit brings a little bit of an insulin release. So we need to combine it properly. But if you're in weight loss mode, that's a different situation than maintenance mode. So in weight loss mode, you have to combine fruit properly. In maintenance mode, you can eat fruit as a snack, 1 serving of fruit as a snack by itself, and be all right. But in weight loss mode, you got to combine it properly. So we're going to talk about how to combine these properly. Energy carbs, you'll always need to combine properly, okay? But the fruit one is the one that you can change it up once you hit to maintenance if you want to. Now, and I don't want you to think that we're saying fruit is not good for you or anything like that. It is very good for you. But in weight loss, with the goal that you're trying to achieve, you just have to do something a little bit differently while you're trying to achieve that goal. Then once you get to, you can still eat fruit, you just combine it properly. Then once you get to maintenance, you can have it as a snack by itself. Okay, let's talk about this though, because I want you to, I want you to imagine what is going on in your body when you eat food. Let's say that you want some lima beans, okay? And that would be, I know that lima beans are an energy carb. Most of your lighter colored beans are an energy carb. Okay, so they bring a little bit more of an insulin release. Okay, so when you eat those lima beans, and the insulin is going to come out. Well, on weight loss mode, we're going to use our 2 hands. Remember, we're going to use our 2 hands actually for any perfect day. In weight loss and in maintenance, we use our hands. Well, you could do about 1/4 cup of the lima beans. That's going to sit about right there. Okay, we use our hands to measure. It's going to sit about right there. So those lima beans, because they do bring an insulin release, and you now know that you need to pair it properly, must be combined with a 1 and a 2. So what it might look like is, let's just keep it simple, chicken breast and green beans. So if you put a chicken breast under this hand, lima beans here, green beans here, properly portion it, you have an excellent fat burning meal. But let me explain what happens. The lima beans that you have eaten are going to bring in a little bit of an insulin release. They just do. That's just the nature of what is going to happen. But 1, you did not overeat it. You didn't overeat it. So there was an insulin release, but it wasn't huge. It wasn't one that wasn't easily dealt with by the other food that you put with it. So when you put the protein from the lean protein and the fiber from the fibrous carb with the insulin release that came from the energy carb, it's neutralizing that insulin. You have just won the science fair because you just properly combine that, and you're not going to have fat storage based on what you've eaten. And that is awesome. I hope y'all are excited sitting there right now. I hope this is blowing your mind because it did me. It did me. Okay, let's talk about fruit real quick. Let me just give you what that might look like. A lot of people like to eat fruit in the morning, so I'm just going to give that as a quick example. Let's say that you want to have some berries in the morning. You should do about half a cup of berries, actually, because berries are so low on the glycemic index. But what that might look like is if you have an egg white spinach omelet. And I just kept something simple. If you don't like egg white and spinach omelet, you just find what works for you, like yogurt and maybe some hemp flakes or something like that. But you'll figure out what works best for you. But the protein in the egg whites and the fiber in the spinach help neutralize the insulin release from the berries. There you go. You just won the science fair again by properly combining your foods. So let's look at this. Category 3 and category 5 must be combined with a 1 and a 2. Now remember, a 1 could also be a 7, shellfish, because remember, it's just a subset of a lean protein. Now let's talk about this one, protein plus fat, because the energy carb, the protein plus fat, and the fruit, they're the ones in my mind that I've got set up as ding, 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 ding. Do the right thing with this one because you're going to need to. So let's look at this protein plus fat. First of all, I want you to know that this fat is not a bad fat. Our body needs fat for certain functions, and our body will take this fat, use it as it needs to for those certain functions, and it will get burned up as energy if we don't do anything that's going to cause it to get stored. Okay? So let's talk about the classic plate of a steak and a baked potato, just because I think it is the best visual that I can use. So you have a steak and a baked potato. And the steak and the baked potato, the steak has some fat lipids in it. And you've eaten the steak, there's little fat lipids now roaming around in your body. They are there. You've chosen to eat it with a baked potato. Most of the time, it is not a small baked potato. I mean, I've seen baked potatoes the size of people's hands or double the size of people's hands, and they're eating this giant baked potato covered in a lot of other extra stuff too. But anyway, we're just going to talk about the potato. So the potato was big. It wasn't your little quarter cup of lima beans, all right? It was big. And it required dose after dose after dose of insulin to come out. Well, insulin is the fat bus. Well, a bus's job is to pick people up and take them to their destination. If a bus was not doing that action, there would be no reason for a bus, okay? So a bus's job is to pick people up and take them to their destination. Well, we termed the insulin the fat bus because its job is to go around and pick up fat and take it to its destination. Anybody know where the destination is? Who wants to take a guess at where the destination is? I don't, dumb y'all are asleep. This is exciting information. Yep, Judy said but. Yep, a lot of times I hear but and gut, depending on where you tend to hold it. So we don't want that bus traveling back there with that fat, all right? So we just have to know that now, because that's what happens when you do that. Let's say now you know that you're going to eat that steak, but now you're not going to eat it with an insulin producing item. Let's just make it simple. You're going to eat it with some broccoli, okay? So you eat it with some broccoli. Broccoli does not bring an insulin release. The protein plus fat didn't bring an insulin release, okay? So there's fat roaming around in your body, but nothing was there to store it. So it gets used up as energy, and you do not store new fat. Is that not exciting? That is super, super exciting. All right, so you want to make sure that you pair this properly. You do not want to eat this protein plus fat with anything that brings an insulin release. So let's have a look at that. You might want to write this down. You don't want to eat your protein plus fat with your energy carbs, which is your category 3s, your fruit, which is category 5, or superfoods, which is category 6, because superfoods tend to bring a little bit more of an insulin release. So we just don't pair it with the item that's got fat in it. So let's look at that. A lot of people over the years have woken up and had some fruit and some whole eggs and biscuits and all kinds of stuff, totally storing fat with that meal. But we have alternatives, and you just can change it up, you know. So one of the other things that you want to do is write down the meals that you eat on a regular basis so that we can look at them with you and help you figure out the alternatives, because you have a mentor appointment available to you. Actually, anytime you need them, you've got complimentary mentor appointments, and they can help you do that. All right, let's see. Let's go over one more thing. We're going to go over superfood. This is important. I am going to ask you this tomorrow night. A food ends up in the superfood category because it has all of the macronutrients in there. So it's got water in it. On planet Shibboleth, water is a macronutrient. And guess what? It's a 0-calorie macronutrient. But superfoods also have in there protein, carbs, and fat. So if something is in the category 6 superfood, it means it has all 4 of the macronutrients in there. See, like, look at this lean protein. You're not going to find many carbs in there. If there's any fat at all, it's negligible. So that's going to be that way. This fibrous carbs, there's carbs in there. They're good carbs in the fibrous carb category. Energy carbs, they can be good carbs just if they're paired properly. And right here, the 2 macronutrients in here are protein and fat. And this one is carbs. Then, and do you know how I'm saying carbs a whole bunch too? Have you ever heard you should cut out carbs? You cut out carbs, you're not going to stick with that diet very long. Superfood has all the macronutrients in there. Okay, so that's how an item ended up right there. And I hope this is starting to make sense to you. Now we're going to look at the next slide, and we're going to do a recap. So your fastest, this is always the great question, your fastest fat burning combination is category 1 or category 7, they're both lean proteins, with a category 2 fibrous carb that's like a vegetable one. Because guess what we've got? We've got over 60 approved bread or bread type items in the category 2 fibrous carb category, which is amazing. But when I say this too, I mean like a broccoli, green beans and stuff. Cooked in MCT oil, which is a medium chain triglyceride, and we're going to get to that on the next slide. So if you do some 1s and 2s and MCT together, that's going to be awesome. And don't get concerned about seeing a plus sign. We're not doing any addition on Shibboleth or anything like that. It's just meaning we're having it all on the same plate together. And then let's recap here. If you want to eat a category 3 or a 5, which is your energy carb or your fruit, you must eat it with a 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2. Don't eat category 4s, which is your protein plus fat, with energy carbs, fruit, or superfoods. And then this last point is really important. All meat at a restaurant must be considered a category 4. And that's the reason that's the case is because we don't know what oil they're cooking it in. They could be taking a lean protein like a chicken breast, but they're not cooking it in MCT oil, I can guarantee you that. So unless you ask them to dry grill it, then it's got to be considered a protein plus fat, in order to keep you safe. Because then you'll know, oh, don't order an energy carb, fruit, or superfood with that. Okay, so let's look at this next slide. Approved cooking oils, super duper important. Okay, these are the improved cooking oils. If you are currently using olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, things like that, we're not going to use those anymore. Now, you heard me say olive oil, and sometimes people go, oh, I like olive oil. Well, remember I said nutrition is situational. I'm not saying olive oil does not have good health properties. It does, but it is not good for fat loss. And so if you want to use it, it's just a holiday. You can use it up to 6 times a month if you wanted to, but it would be a holiday if you choose to use olive oil. So what our number 1 highly recommended oil for you to use, and the best one for fat burning, is 100% MCT oil. 100% MCT oil. MCT is a medium chain triglyceride. Those other ones that I just mentioned are long chain triglycerides. Long chain triglycerides have a very long time to burn up on your body. In fact, They take so long to burn up on your body that they rarely get burned off and they get stored as fat. There you go. That's why you don't want to use them. These medium chain triglycerides burn up like fat. They have almost no propensity to be stored in the body as fat. So why would I not want to use this brand new oil? In my mind, this was one of the huge secrets too that I did not have any clue about. So make sure you're using the medium chain triglyceride, the MCT oil. We don't require, SHIBBOLETH doesn't require that you buy anything from our store, but if you are going to buy something, please get the Zero Drag 100% MCT oil. Here's why. It's been maximized for cooking. It has fewer calories in it than all the other MCTs that I've seen on the market. It is not emulsified, and we know that it is not repackaged coconut oil. So it is a high quality product that we truly believe in, and that's the one that we suggest that you buy. You can, if you're not near one of our little stores, because we got the whole big, awesome United States of America, and there's 2 stores, one in Dalton and one in Kennesaw. So most of the people that are doing this program aren't even near one of our stores. You can order it online through the SHIBBOLETH store. You order $30 or more, it's shipped to you for free. Okay, so you can order your medium chain triglyceride. And then the second would be coconut oil, because coconut oil is 60% MCTs. Then you could use ghee butter, which is G-H-E-E butter, not to be confused with ghee butter, which is a meal replacement that you could use if you wanted to, but ghee butter, and ghee butter is really just butter. It's just been clarified. After it's been clarified, it has more MCTs in it, so that's why that works. And then you could use hemp oil or 0-calorie cooking spray. So Sherry's asking, where do I find the store online? Once you log in to your website, at the very top, the menu that's across the top, it says store. That's where you'd find that. Okay, so this medium chain triglyceride, I want to go back and talk about this real quick, because there are some really great things about this. Since this is a fat, this MCT oil is a fat, I would not cook any of my protein plus fats with it. If I'm going to have a protein plus fat, I'm going to give you an example. Egg whites don't have any fat. You can use the MCT. Whole eggs do have fat. I would use 0-calorie cooking spray. Okay, so there's just that difference right there. And I had a great question one night. Somebody asked, why would I choose to use medium chain triglycerides that have about 100 calories per tablespoon if you use ours? The market ones have 130 calories versus something that's 0-calorie. Here's why. MCT is muscle preserving. It has a muscle preserving effect, and it also has a metabolism building effect. 0-calorie cooking spray doesn't. So this is why you would choose to use one of these, because we really want to protect our muscles while we are in weight loss. And we also want to build our metabolism. So let's use some MCT oil. MCT oil can be used for 3 reasons. 3 reasons. Remember, I told you that nutrition is situational. You may have seen in the past this rage about bulletproof coffee, putting MCT oil in your coffee. If you do that, stop. Please stop. Coffee is a pre-digested drink. There is nothing to slow down the absorption of the fat. Okay, so we do not want to put that in there. We don't put it in any shakes or anything like that. When you are using MCT oil for the purpose of losing weight, which MCT oil is used for other purposes out there, and they may want to make some bulletproof coffee, but we do not. The medium chain triglyceride, hold on. Okay, we use it for 3 different things. Cooking in a pan. So let's just say you want to cook yourself a piece of chicken breast. 1 chicken breast, you could use 1 tablespoon. Well, part of that is going to get cooked up in, burn up in cooking. You're not even going to ingest all of it. But what you do ingest is actually really good. Whatever's left in my pan, I'll put it in a little ramekin, and when I cut my chicken, I'll dip it in there like a little au jus sauce. It's good. You can also use it for recipes, and you can make salad dressings with it. Okay, but don't use it for just a supplement, because you're hearing me say it's good. It's going to help you, but it's only going to help you if you use it for the purpose of those 3 things I just mentioned. We don't just take it for a supplement. Medium chain triglyceride, I do need to tell you, you've got to cook on low to medium heat. If you do not cook on low to medium heat, it will set off your smoke detector. So that just shows you right there too that it burns up really quickly on your body, okay? So make sure that you are cooking that on low to medium heat. All right, let's look at our next slide. So yeah, I briefly mentioned at the beginning of this webinar the letters EFB. EFB is efficient fat burning. After 2 perfect Shibboleth days, which on your timing chart, see, once you journal that you're having a perfect day, it gives a cute little icon on your timing chart, which is a green check, and then you get another green check. And then the 3rd perfect day is your first day in EFB. Because what has happened during the 2 perfect days is all insulin that was in your body dissipated, and any glycogen that was hanging around in there being used as an easy, accessible source of energy, it's gone too. So on your 3rd perfect day, you're in EFB. Now, your job is to string as many efficient fat burning days together, which means perfect days, as you can to see great results, okay? So we are striving for perfect days, but you know what? Planned or unplanned, a holiday is coming. It's coming, and it's part of the lifestyle, okay? But I want you to know, after a holiday, it takes 2 perfect days to get your body back into efficient fat burning. But you also need to know that's part of the way the lifestyle works. You just need to not let holiday turn into holiday turn into holiday. We don't need 365 holidays in a year. So what we do is if we end up with a holiday due to a birthday, an anniversary, something special, then that's okay, enjoy it. And then come right back to your perfect days, get that insulin dissipated back out of your body, get that glycogen back out of your body, and then on that 3rd day, you get back into EFB again, and then you string as many efficient fat burning days together as possible. I strategize monthly. In fact, I have a calendar. I have this little bitty calendar right here, and I look at my whole month, and I'll ask myself, okay, I've got 6 days to use as a holiday if I need them. So my first question to myself is, am I going out of town? Because if I'm going out of town, I probably just want to do what I want to do. So I mark those days off as holidays. Well, if that out of town vacation trip's 7 days and I've got 6 holidays, so the rest of the days in that month, and even one while I'm on vacation, need to be perfect so that I can still lose weight. But then I look at it and I'll say, okay, if I'm not going out of town, is there any other holiday in that, an actual holiday like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter? Is there an anniversary, a birthday? Those are my next questions. Then I ask myself, do I have a work function that is going on that I need to plan for? And I go ahead and mark those off. Guess what? After you've done that exercise, you may have 10 days on there that you think might need to be a holiday. Well, that's where you're going to have to go and make some decisions. Okay, this work function where they're going to have a luncheon, I probably don't need to eat that luncheon. I'm going to take a meal replacement that I love to eat. I won't feel like I'm missing out, and I get to eat something delicious and still stay in efficient fat burning. You just have to make those decisions then. But there's a lot of different strategies for taking holidays and stuff, and you'll learn those as you live the lifestyle, okay? But remember what I said about how we want to be in efficient fat burning. We don't want to struggle to burn fat. We want fat to be burning off our body like we are blowtorching butter. We want it to just come right off. And how we do that is we do not use unapproved oils, and we make sure that we keep starchy or sugary foods combined properly and then not eat the unapproved ones, okay? That right there will make us stay in efficient fat burning. And our body, if it doesn't have long-chain triglyceride oils and it doesn't have unapproved or starchy or sugary stuff inside, when it needs energy, it will have to access stored energy, which is fat, and use it, and that's how fat burns off your body. There you go. That's how it burns off the body. Let's look at a couple more slides, and we're going to be wrapping this up. Just to recap, you may have a good idea of what the fat bus is by what I've said, but we're going to recap this. The fat bus is insulin. Insulin is a hormone. specifically a growth hormone focused on fat storage. After an insulin release, fat storage occurs for up to 48 hours, meaning you are out of efficient fat burning, and it takes up to 2 days to get all that back out of your body in order for you to get back into efficient fat burning. That's where the 2 days and the 48 hours comes together. Insulin also increases appetite. So I want you to know, after you've had a holiday, then if you're hungry on that next day, that next perfect day after your holiday, you're just going to have to tell yourself, no, I'm not hungry. It is that insulin. Insulin increases appetite. I'm going to go to my water and I'm going to drink that instead. And then once I get back into my good groove again, I'm not going to be hungry like that, because the insulin increases your appetite. And after the fat bus has been on its rounds, it takes 2 perfect days to get back into EFB. Now, your question is, what am I going to eat this week? Well, if you stick with 1s and 2s or 7s and 2s, that's really kind of a simple way to do that. I did it really, really simple. If you are in the SHIBBOLETH new member fast track group on Facebook, I have a little spreadsheet in there of what I ate for the first 20 days, And it is not a magical meal plan. It was just, you get a snapshot. You get a snapshot of me trying to figure this thing out. I probably ate 30 Mighty Muffins in 20 days. 30 Mighty Muffins. I mean, it might not be the exact number, but it was a lot. I ate like at least one a day. A Mighty Muffin is a meal replacement that it's yummy, it's filling, and it's quick, and it's easy, and I was enjoying it while I was learning and this program. So I was just eating Mighty Muffins. But I think my very first meal was probably chicken and broccoli. So what you need to do is you need to make a list. Just start off with 10 to 15 favorite lean proteins. And if you can't come up with 10 to 15, 5, just 5. And then 10 to 15 favorite fibrous carbs. And then seriously, after you have a list of the 1s and a list of the 2s, you take your pen, you say 96% lean ground meat is going to taste really good with green beans. I'm going to cook that 96% lean ground beef in 1 tablespoon of MCT oil, season up those green beans. I'm going to eat that together, and I'm going to be burning fat. That's that. The next day, maybe you have chicken and broccoli. Then maybe the next day you have turkey breast and squash or something like that. So you just start putting those together. Not everybody, most people that I know are not cooking a full out meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you are going to want to find yourself some meal replacements that you like for simplicity, or figure out the breads that you want to make a piece of toast and have eggs and that kind of stuff. So you can do all of that. They're still going to portion control. So keep it really, really simple in the beginning and then start branching out. Also, in the SHIBBOLETH new member fast track group, I put in some meal plans that I generated. It says they were generated back in December, which they were, but the date on which they were generated doesn't matter. Just go in there and look at those meal plans, and those will give you some ideas as well. And if you're really computer savvy and want to play around, if you go to the home page of your website, once you're logged in, you scroll down to the middle, you've got a meal plan generator right there too that you can play with as well. Now, I want you to take advantage of all of our awesome resources. SHIBBOLETH is run as a ministry. That's why we don't really charge that much for you to get in here, but you are going to be absolutely blown away with the amount of support that you get. One of the areas in which you get support is our Facebook group and groups, multiple groups, okay? And this is what I say, this is members supporting each other. There's 7,800 or more members in our silver level group supporting each other. And then we have our team to back up our members. But, you know, it's hard for just a small team to support 7,800 people. And so our members support each other, which is awesome. So anytime you have a question, just ask it right in there. And then familiarize yourself with our awesome website. So here's the way that my new member fast track group runs. Every single week I do this. Every Sunday night at 8 p.m. I have a live webinar, which we're doing right now. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. we'll have another live webinar. Those are the only 2 live webinars for the week, unless I just kind of pop in impromptu to check on people. But in the Shibboleth new member fast track group, every single morning, it's like an assignment. I've set this up like an electronic textbook. That particular group, the Shibboleth new member fast track group, only has in it the things that you're going to need for this week. People aren't just, I mean, you can post in it, it's fine, but it's not like that silver level group that just goes all day long and you can't find any posts that you wanted to go back and find because it's moving so fast. This one is designed as an electronic textbook. So a post comes out every single morning. This post gives you an assignment for the day. And if you'll take the time and dig in and do that, it'll be something simple like brainstorm what you like, look those foods up in the food library. And then it's a video of me showing you how to use the website. One of the things that I think I can do the best for you is to shorten your learning curve on using the website. The more you dig into our website, the more successful you are going to be. So we find that the people who journal, they lose 3 times more weight than the people that don't journal. The people that are just going into the recipe library just to check that out and don't journal, they're not losing nearly as much weight as the people who take advantage of all of the website. So I want you to familiarize yourself with the website. And then I want you to make a getting started mentor appointment. But I want you to make that appointment for next week. The reason I want you to make it for next week is because I want your full focus this week to be on the Shibboleth new member fast track group. And then if you don't get your questions answered this week, you'll have them written down. Write down any questions that you have. And then you have that mentor appointment. Even if you think you've got it down by then, still keep your mentor appointment. It is nice to get to know the people that are supporting you, okay? And then you can ask any questions and do all of that. And then last but not least, welcome. Welcome to the Shibboleth family. We are so glad that you are here, and we are here for you. Okay, we are here for you. So if there's something that you don't understand, don't stop asking until you understand it. Just keep knocking and questioning and making mentor appointments and reaching out. Just keep right on asking until you understand. But I truly believe that if you get started tomorrow, you can lose 7 pounds in 7 days very, very easily. I mean, I have had people have way greater than 7 pounds, but I like to use 7 as a good average. But wouldn't that be exciting to see 7 pounds gone this week? I know that I would be excited for you. So, okay, well, if you have any questions, I can be here for another 5 minutes or so. Otherwise, I just want you to focus in on the fast track this week. There's 14 little videos that you're going to watch this week. It takes less than 1 hour to watch those videos. And at the end, there's a test, and you'll earn your first badge, which would be your Shibboleth new member fast track badge. And if you have not liked the Shibboleth Facebook page yet, not the group, the public page, go live there every morning, Monday through Friday, with a little morning motivation and daily devotion, just to keep us on track so that we know what we are planning on doing that day. And I would love to see y'all watching that. I would love to see y'all watching that. Say hello when you do. All right, I think that y'all are ready to hop off, but don't forget to register for the class tomorrow night. Let's see, Brenda says, is the 4 to 6 ounce lean protein before cooking? I'd say yes. I don't really know, but I would say yes. Awesome, Sherry, I'm glad this is helpful. That's a great question though, Brenda, I'll find out. But I don't really know, huh? You're welcome, Judy. It was good to see you in class yesterday. Awesome. All right, well, I'll see y'all in the morning on the Shibby Show. You're welcome, Chad. You're welcome, Brenda.